A lot of people think that Braille is used by everyone that is blind or visually impaired. 80% of people are able to read Braille regardless of their age. When we have voice-to-text or when we have speech, why would you still be using Braille is a question that we get asked a lot.
Hable, always in control.
2 years ago, I joined Hable. And at Hable, we work a lot with Braille. But back then, I knew actually nothing about it. All I knew is that Braille is a very old innovation that for some reason is still being used and is still relevant. Now, during my 2 years, I talked to a lot of experts in the field. And there were two things that really spoke to me and two things that I wish I knew before I joined the company. So in this video, I will talk about these two things and how they changed my perception on using Braille. Maybe let's start with some misconceptions. So first of all, a lot of people think that Braille is used by everyone that is blind or visually impaired. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Worldwide, around 10% of people with blindness actually know and use Braille. This number is very small for several reasons that we'll get into a little later. A second really big misconception is that Braille reading is really hard and at a later age that a lot of people are not able to feel the dots anymore. Nowadays, a lot of people are using voice to text and voice feedback to work with their phones, to work with their computer, using screen readers. And this is a very great innovation. So when we have voice to text or when we have speech, why would you still be using Braille is a question that we get asked a lot. And there are a few reasons why Braille is still very relevant and how it differentiates from this voice. And first off, we have reading and grammar. If you're listening to a voice, you can actually not hear the spelling of words. And you can imagine that if you never learn how to write or how to read a sentence, you can also not make the sentence. So in professional work, it's really hard for you to actually write a normal email or write a normal letter, which is a big problem. The second thing is privacy. When you're always having to listen to a voice, everyone around you can also listen to it. So for example, when you're sitting in the train and you need to send a specific message to someone, everyone can hear what you're saying or what you're hearing. The third reason is that remembering something when you're using voice is a lot harder. Think about it yourself. When you're reading or when you're studying for an exam, you often read books or you read lecture slides. And when you're listening to it, you actually remember way less. And now I can almost hear you thinking, so why does only 10% of people actually know Braille? And well, that's actually because of the second myth. And this is that a lot of people think that reading Braille is only possible for a small group of people because reading Braille is really hard and that you lose sense in your fingers at a later age. And this is actually not true. 80% of people are able to read Braille regardless of their age. Actually, only a very small group loses a sense in their fingers to read it. And because of this big misconception, a lot of people don't even start or don't even consider learning Braille. Well, there's so much advantage there. So I would like to challenge you to the next time where you see Braille and you'll find it in elevators, in drug medicine boxes. Try if you can feel the distinct dots. I just talked about the two biggest myths, according to me, regarding Braille. But there are a lot more myths about Braille or people with blindness. So let us know what the biggest myth is according to you. And we will see if we can bust it in the next video.